All right, we are back at Red Carpet Ring. Don't do something a little different here. Go to a new style here, Red Carpet Ring. We got to talk about NXT. Why NXT is just not the same as it used to be. What's going on with NXT today? We're gonna talk about it. I'm here with Goodbread Wrestling. We are talking about NXT today, and we talking about how it used to be very good back in the original Black and Gold era of the WWE Network era. Not even just USA era days. But we're gonna talk about it. I got Goodbread here wrestling here with me. What's up,
That's a
Goodbread?
fact. What's going on, guys? And like you stated, once held as WWE's best weekly show, full of hard hitting matches, unforgettable takeovers, and future legends, NXT has drastically fell off the map to me, guys. From the iconic black and gold era to the controversial NXT 2.0 reboot. Many fans are asking the same question. Is NXT still worth watching? That's what we finna get into today, man.
All right. Right now we in the black and silver era of NXT. We know NXT for the past year. They just had the year anniversary of being on CW. Now, I know they had a great NXT TNA showdown, solid show, Survivor Series style matches, all of that. Great show. I'm not taking it away from them, but if you take the TNA partnership away, what does NXT, what legs do they have to stand on? Because if it's not TNA people, it's always somebody from Raw. SmackDown comes to the show. It's always something. Even if for a backstage segment, every week we see that now, and it was not like that then. And it's like they don't have no substance to stand on anymore.
That's true. And what I notice also is, like I said, they're not developing new talent anymore. NXT is not being used as they was once before to develop new talent. NXT is now being used as one of the brands on the main roster now. NXT, ever since they have got their own deal and they have separated themselves, they haven't become underground. Now they're more mainstream, and that's why I think a lot of people are souring on NXT, because if we remember at the beginning, the very beginning of NXT and the glory days of NXT, it was something different. It was the alternative. It was, you could go to NXT to see something that you don't see on Monday or on Friday. Now, when you go to NXT, you seeing the same thing, so it's not really an alternate.
No, yeah, you're right. It's not. It's definitely not an alternate program. It's definitely different. I used to love watching WWE Network and seeing NXT, even CW, even when it first got on, not CW, but USA Network, still had the good different feel. But ever since they got these big TV deals and the TKO, it's pretty much not different. If anything, to be honest, I think WWE Evolve has become the new NXT. That's slowly becoming how the old NXT used to do. So I don't see why May Ross coming to that show.
Right, and it still got that grit. It got that old school grit that independent wrestling possess. See, that's the difference. When you want independent, you want that gritty look. You want the intimate audience. You know what I mean? You don't want what you get from your main roster on your independent show. This is why AEW still got life, because AEW will always be that pro wrestling show where WWE is serving up a lot of sports entertainment. For those who want their good old pro wrestling fix, can always go to AEW because the grit and the aesthetics. It's similar to like YouTube. A lot of us YouTube content creators, we came to YouTube when YouTube was mainstream. YouTube wasn't always bright lights, fancy backgrounds, and when YouTube first came around, YouTube was, you set your camera up, you find a quiet spot, and you shoot and you record. You didn't need all of these ring lights, and you didn't need all of this and that. Now What's independent has become mainstream, and you get no acceptance if your show is not mainstream like. But people want that independent. People still want that grit.
Very true. Very, very true. Um, yeah, I don't like it. And then another thing about NXT doing today, it's all about hot shotting or stat padding. Like a few examples I give, we have seen the past year, we've seen Stephanie Walker come to NXT, have a 5 6 month run, win both the Women's North American and NXT Women's title. Julia, same thing. You come win the NXT Women's title, then you go ahead and go to main roster, same thing. And I noticed once they go to main roster, they emphasize how they held the NXT Women's title, how they held the NXT Women's North American Championship, and I just see that as like, okay, we get it. There was an NXT, but I thought NXT was developmental. That's separate. This is main roster. It's like NXT is, like you said, is a variation. It's of Raw and SmackDown combined or something now, because y'all emphasize it on it heavy. I think they should just go ahead and make NXT a third brand and make Evolve, who's really the developmental brand. But the way WWE is marketing it is Evolve is the developmental brand and NXT is the advanced developmental brand. If you know that good brand, that's what they call it. It's advanced developmental. You go from Evolve or LFG wherever you were at, and you go to NXT, which is the advanced developmental. So I don't get it.
Right. And when they say developmenting, it's crazy to me because one of the knocks on NXT, right, was when it was independent, before we went into the TKO, the 2.0 era, because I noticed what the 2.0 era did. The 2.0 era is the era that got them prepared to go to the main roster. See, when NXT was first started, we wasn't big on sending NXT main rosters, NXT people to the main roster because NXT was still building its own ground. So a lot of the guys, a lot of the stars that ended up leaving NXT to go to the main roster, aside from the Kevin Owens and the Sami Zayns, a lot of the other ones struggled because at the time NXT was all about work rate. NXT was developing you, but they were about what you do in that ring. 2.0 ever came along, and now they use NXT as a way to, as a farm system to develop the talent that's going to the main roster. Because remember, before NXT highlighted the developmental of these characters, a lot of characters were going to the main roster and failing because they wasn't making the transition from NXT to the main roster quite yet. But now, that's one thing I will give NXT. NXT, when you look at stars like Roxanne Perez and Braun Breaker, they're making an easier transition, a way easier transition than the stars like Aleister Black, Ricochet, Shinsuke, and that's because when those characters was in NXT, it was all about work rate. It wasn't so much about main roster, and it wasn't so much about sales and mainstream attention. You know what I mean? It was the
Sure.
independent program. It's the independent show. So I did notice that in the evolution, as we could say, of NXT and the NXT brand.
That's very, very true. That's a good points you hit on there. Very good points, because I do see that. I do see that being the case. Like, what is going on?
But it takes, but it's like a gift and a curse because you could say, all right, at least 2.0 is getting them prepared for the main roster, but it's still watering down the actual wrestling ability.
Hmm.
It's still watering it down because we're not getting our independent where we want our independent. We're getting mainstream, and then we're getting more mainstream. So it's like if we want that independent, we're gonna have to go somewhere else for it.
And that's where Evolve comes in. That's why I say Evolve is doing great, and I say they have the potential to be where NXT used to be, because they're just now they're pre-recorded. they're on Tubi for the for the states and YouTube for international, but it has that good grit feeling because I just don't see it with NXT no more. It don't hit like it used to.
It definitely does not slap like it used to. The stories is, they don't have the amount of characters to sell us on these long term stories. We will never get a Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa storyline again. And remember, that was a
No,
slow burn storyline that
yeah,
burnt over years. And
years
then, I mean, it started as tag teams, and then it went to them hating each other.
being rivals, yeah, being rivals. Yep.
Right. So we don't get that. We don't get that no more because we don't know how long we're gonna have these stars. Look at the program we just had with Julia and Stephanie Velcro, in the words of Naomi.
Yeah.
That was a rush program because they had
Yeah.
plans on bringing these girls up to the Royal Rumble and then up into the main roster. And you could kind of see who they planning on test running because every female that they have pushed in that Royal Rumble magically made their way to the to the main roster very, very soon. So
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. And
I
then
don't
it's like
see.
we're using these women, we're bringing them to the main roster, and then we'll go get a nostalgia contract, bring back an old head to
That's what
beat
I'm
the
saying.
beat the girl that we just elevated from NXT.
I
So
don't get that. I don't get that for life.
right, we use a Hall of Famer to job out a up and coming star. And then when the Hall of Famer go off to be a part timer, we left with the NXT person just sitting there with a bunch of losses.
I don't know
And
why
that's
they
supposed to
did
be our
that.
future.
Yeah, that I don't understand for the life of me. I don't know why they do it like that. But you're right. We've seen that plenty of times. We will see a girl on NXT they building up. They go bring it to the main roster and they dumb her down by bringing an older person back. So I'm like, what's going on? What are y'all doing?
Absolutely. You put me on to Lash Legends. And from the time you put me on up to Lash Legends, I would say that girl should have been made her move to the main roster. They
Yeah,
played with her and Jakara, flirted with them on the main roster, but
yeah,
they never committed to having the girl on the main roster. We
never.
we we SmackDown, to be specific, is a show right now that's it like it's being run on autopilot because all the characters is in the wrong positions. All the bad guys should be good guys, and all the good guys should be heels.
Yeah,
And this girl should be on that show. There's room for this girl to be on the show, and we
yeah.
have so
That's
many
gonna be good.
unused talent. But then we choose to spam particular characters on both shows. Don't make any sense to me. We will have division on Raw and SmackDown when we have a bunch of SmackDown talent not being used. We have a bunch of NXT call ups not being used, and they got the time, they got the TV time, but we would rather spam characters that's already used on Monday.
Yeah, I don't get that at all, bro. I don't understand that for life of me. Why are they doing it like that?
And I,
Vision, I don't get them. I don't even get how. I talked about this on another channel. How you got you just randomly. This is every week now. We see Braun Breaker on SmackDown. It's starting to become a weekly thing. So
Yeah, and we got to bring this. This falls on Shawn Michaels' lap, but you see, the thing is, Shawn Michaels is likable. He's one of those likable bosses. Y'all don't hate Shawn Michaels like y'all would hate a Stephanie McMahon or a Triple H. So we let this go unheard. But this is all on Shawn Michaels. We know Triple H cannot be booking NXT anymore because he's being stretched all over the place. So he
hmm
don't got time to focus in. And the minute he
you know,
stopped watching over NXT is the minute NXT went down.
and you know they
Cause
say you don't even be at all the shows now. You don't even be at the shows. I heard. You don't even be at the
yeah,
shows.
he can't possibly have he can't possibly do that. He got the Saudi deal. He got the Saudi and he got the he got the whole thing with the man. Triple H is all over the place right now, bro. He got
He
too
don't.
much to worry
He
about.
don't even be
NXT
at.
can't be one of them.
Yeah, yeah. He don't even be at the Raw SmackDown shows like that. He got too much going on. So he leaving it in other hands of other people, like you said. He's really living in other hands.
Right. And like I always said, Shawn Michaels wasn't the creative guy. He never came off to me as the creative genius. I always could see Shawn Michaels putting together a dope match. But to put together a whole show from top to bottom, Shawn Michaels never seemed interested in caring about learning that. So we know that he was just put in place because that's someone Triple H could trust. You know what I mean? Triple H, when he could do both, when he had time to run NXT and do a little stuff on the main roster, all he needed was somebody he could put into place to hold him down while he go run off and do SmackDown and Raw and then come back. But now he can't.
True.
He has no time to run back. So this got to be Shawn Michaels have got to. He got to learn if he haven't learned nothing yet, he got to learn or he got to get to learning or he got to pass that responsibility because it's looking bad. It's looking bad. Oba Femi, I am absolutely frightened for this man. I am scared for this man to go anywhere because obviously they're gonna call him up to the main roster. He's too good of a talent, and he's gonna be his worst enemy because he sells too great. The way he sells as a big man or for little man is gonna be his down. It's gonna be his kryptonite. It's gonna be his kryptonite because he's as dominant as Brock Lesnar. Just he sells better than Brock Lesnar. But we all know why Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar refused to sell for anybody. And maybe Obad need to take that under his repertoire. Maybe he need to learn that. Don't be selling too good. Dolph Ziggler told us about this. Baron
Yeah.
Corbin
Yeah.
told us about this.
Very true. He should not do that because it's gonna ruin him, bro. It's gonna ruin him.
It definitely gonna ruin him when you are able to get other people over. That man, they lose sight on you. They don't see value in you, even though that is very valuable. That is a unique skill. Not
Yeah.
everybody can make wrestling look believable, but Oba can make it look believable. When Ricky was hitting him, all his matches, every single match, especially the triple threat matches, all his matches look believable because the way he sells. Now and mind you, they disrespected this man. This man was one of the greatest, if not one of the most dominant NXT champions of all time. And I remember all the champions and all their runs. And aside from aside from Oscar, you know what I mean? Karrion Cross was too short. Keith Lee, too short of a run. But this has been the most dominant championship reign
Yeah.
in NXT since Oscar's reign.
Yeah. You're right. That's very true.
Right. So, and they don't even talk about this man. I mean, he got the padded stats. He got the stat padding. So they'll mention it. Oh, he's a former NXT champion, but yeah, y'all didn't treat him like that when he was the
No.
champion.
Nope. Yeah. Guys like Oba came across. They don't get enough recognition. Oba was the most dominant champion all year on NXT. Longest reign up until he gets lost to Ricky. And they don't even acknowledge it. That's not good. They don't even acknowledge it.
They don't acknowledge it. I mean, that's an accomplishment. That we quick to talk about Gunther and his percentage. Do you know who's the next winningest person in WWE? Oba Femi.
Oba's Henry.
Yeah, Oba Femi is right after in the winning the percentage department and the holding the title for a whole year department with Gunther. But we won't say, we won't speak. And Gunther's another cream of the crop from NXT.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in NXT UK. Yep. You're right.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I don't respect this man like that.
And now we got Brock Lesnar back. We know Brock Lesnar is reportedly signed to his back to his part-time deal. So, they love feeding people to Brock Lesnar.
No
And
problem.
Oba, he sells so good. I could see it already. I could see it already. Him getting F5 by Brock Lesnar.
Just like Omos did, right?
Right. I mean,
No,
Omos was trash to me from the jump,
well,
but
I know,
it's
but he's
even
a big
criminal.
man. He a
Right,
big
right.
man. That's what I mean.
Facts. And you know how they do. It's just, man, I hate to admit it, man, but I'm with a lot of the content creators that kind of report on the fact that WWE be mishandling these black stars, man, these
Yeah,
darker
dude.
colored skin stars, man. I hate saying it, but it's true.
It's the truth.
Truth is the truth.
It's the booking. You don't know how to book. It's the
Right.
booking problem.
Shit, man. But I don't want to hold you too long. Just want to ask, do you still do you still watch NXT? And whatever was your favorite, Black and Gold 2.0 or the current product, guys?
I know mine is black and gold on WWE Network, and a little bit of USA Network era. Those are my favorite ones.
All right, guys. So we're gonna be listening. We're gonna be looking at see what you guys think. We're going to the comment section right now. So let us know. Can NXT be great again?
Yeah,
And
can
what
it be
was your best
fixed?
ever?
Yep. You guys check out the content below that we got there, and we will talk more about more topics like this. Thank you, Goodbread, for coming out. Of course, you already know what it is at this point. It's OUNT.
OUT.